Welcome back to Exploring Whiskeys. I'm Eric.
I'm Kevin, and today we're going to start our next series. We finished up our 1792 line, including the little bonus one from Chestnut Hill. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to be moving over into the Heaven's Door. I keep wanting to say Heaven's Hill, which is a distillery, but this is Heaven's Door, which is relatively new.
Mm-hmm. 2015.
Yep. Claim to fame is
Bob Dylan.
They are directly connected with Bob Dylan, and a lot of the artwork on the bottles, it comes from, he makes gates and does like a lot of iron work. So that is what is on the front of these bottles, is different things that he's done, different designs and all that kind of cool stuff.
Real quick shout out though, this was a
birthday present,
sampler pack for my birthday from a Whiskey Club member, Greg Lorenzi.
Ah, that's right.
Hook me up with this.
That's right. Another sampler pack. Gotta love the sampler packs. I really enjoy them. You get to try a little of everything. And this is their Tennessee bourbon. Their
what? Tennessee bourbon?
Exactly. So the fun part is they don't even have Tennessee bourbon as a release on their website anymore. They have a straight bourbon with the red.
So you're saying we shouldn't open that?
Or they have, well, we already took the plastic off. Or they have a 10-year Tennessee. And I'm not sure if it says bourbon or what. It says bourbon on the website too. All right, I think the main point of calling it out as bourbon is that it's 51% corn. We actually know it's 70% corn, and then 30% is rye and malted barley.
And it's probably the Lincoln County.
The 10-year actually specifies that it's the Lincoln County process, which means it's charcoal, sweet.
That maple charcoal.
Yeah, the sugar maple charcoal filtered. Traditionally, it's in between the distillation process and the barreling. They do a filter. Officially, I don't know. It depends on how particular you want to be. Officially, that disqualifies that from being a bourbon because it didn't just get put in the barrel.
I'm going to say it's a whiskey.
It's definitely a Tennessee whiskey with a bourbon base. That's the words we'll use. Outside of that, we don't know a whole heck of a lot because they don't release who produces their juice.
And I'll be honest, being in Tennessee, this is not one I typically see on the shelves.
No. There's like a couple rare places that will have one or two bottles, but it's not a very common whiskey for down here. No. I agree. I also don't know how big Bob Dylan is down here. I don't know. You know, we're country music area, right, not necessarily Bob Dylan area. I don't know.
I get some ethanol on the nose for sure.
We're looking at 90 proof.
Yeah, but that right out of the gate.
See, I'm gonna say I get the corn, but it's like that musty corn.
Yeah.
Kind of like Dickel.
Yeah.
Which, all right, so in theory, Dickel's one of the biggest, they're one of the biggest sourcing distilleries in the state of Tennessee for Tennessee whiskey.
You know, and I've been there.
And it's not big, right?
And I've been to Jack Daniel's, and I've been to a number of them up on the Bourbon Trail. It's a small outfit.
Yeah.
I mean, they must have another location for the sourcing.
Right. Maybe.
Yeah, because their main area, well, I say their main area, what I'm thinking is probably their main area. It's not very big. Yeah. It's a smaller operation.
I do get a little bit of that, like I said, the dusty corn note. It's not exactly Dickel, and that's the fun part. So normally a Dickel Tennessee whiskey is 80+%, 84% corn. This is only 70. So did they do it? I saw some other ideas of Pritchard was another distillery that possibly could have done it. The weird part is this bourbon was released with an 8-year age statement, but 5 years after they started. So they bought it already with that, or they had started working with them before they actually established the company.
Ooh, I like the finish.
I don't know. So the ethanol has come off, and now I'm starting to get a little bit more of a sweeter note.
Ooh, the finish and the aftertaste is really good. Get that vanilla, caramel, a little bit of pepper.
Yeah, there's a little spice note right down the right down the middle.
The
right down
pepper, that pepper comes out at the end.
Yeah, but there's a lot of sweet.
I enjoyed the finish way more than the nose and
The nose
initial
still
palate.
comes off just a little ethanol
It's
aggressive.
just very corn and very ethanol-y.
Ethanol.
If that's a word.
It is now.
It is for this channel.
Exactly. People know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get much off.
The nose is, I mean, there's sweet notes and there's an ethanol note, and that's kind of, and maybe a dusty corn note-ish, something along those lines. The palate adds, there's maybe like it's like an orange rind, like the rind part. It's like a little bitterish to it, and then like orange rind in vanilla and caramel. That's odd.
The finish is really good.
The finish is nice. It sits really well. It doesn't look super
Vanilla,
oily,
caramel, but again, I go back to the vanilla, caramel, and pepper.
Yeah.
I feel like those are the main three.
Vanilla, caramel. I definitely get vanilla caramel. Really the caramel. The caramel's really strong. That more toasted, burnt type.
Yep.
Really nice. Caramel. Yeah. I mean, that's the strongest note.
So I am curious though if this is truly sourced, or do they just pony up and put stuff in a rick house and just let it
Buy barrels and store it someplace. Don't know. Their website's pretty. Not a lot of information.
Okay.
So it's very much, I mean, the quotes from Bob Dylan, it's everything about Heaven's Door is Bob Dylan.
Well, and I feel
That's it.
I feel like, well, there's a number, right now with Tennessee whiskeys that are kind of tied to country music.
Yeah, absolutely.
Music stars. Go out on a limb here and probably say they're probably trying to sell this based off Bob Dylan's name.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yep. Again,
It's better than the Wolf Moon. If I'm going to compare it to the only other time we did a musician's whiskey, I mean, it's got a little bit more body to it. It's a little bit more complex. There's a little bit more age to it, 8-ish years on it. You can kind of tell that.
This is 90.
The proof versus the 80.
The 80.
Yeah.
Wolf Moon's, the flavor profile in Wolf Moon
Super sugar, sweet.
was sweet. It was good. But we
just-
both were in the agreement
80
that it
proof
just
was-
needed to be 90 to 95 proof.
Yeah, but this has more character. There's the sweetness. There's a pepper. There's maybe a rye note in there. Maybe that's what's driving the pepper note. Overall, I mean, it's a solid whiskey. $50 for a sourced whiskey. I mean, if you look at the age, you look at the proof. Yeah, it's about the right ballpark for a price. But my guess is you're kind of paying for the name and the connection to Bob Dylan.
That whole sourced whiskey, though, I mean,
Yeah.
we need to make it the MGP.
It's just, yeah, I mean, I'm going to pick this. I put my name on it, and that's what's either going to make or break the sale of that whiskey.
But you got to think, though, I mean, there's so many out there that come from there.
Yeah, absolutely. This is definitely not MGP.
But I would like to go up there and really sit down. Like, how do you go through the process? Are you coming in and just sampling?
And
You're
finding
like, ooh, I like that one, or are you working with the master distiller, to create your own blend, and they're distilling it up there, and then you're just bottling under your name?
I'm going to go a third option. I think they know what all their flavor profiles are for their different mash bills and their different barrels and their rick houses, and they could probably say, well, what are you looking for?
We got it.
Try these barrels, and that's in that wheelhouse.
Yeah.
They have, my understanding, the size and scope of that place is they probably have, 100 barrels that will fit whatever you ask for. Again, I agree. Yeah, that'd be a hell of a trip, MGP. I'm going to say I like the nose. It's not spectacular.
The nose is...
It's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
The palate gets a little bit better than the nose. The finish is really nice.
The finish for
is
me is...
the sweetness,
I'd rank them backwards. The finish, palate, nose for me.
I'm interested to see what's the double barrel, what's the rye, because there's a hint of a rye in there, but it's not That's not a primary note at all.
Full transparency, I haven't opened any of these.
Right. Yeah. This was a maiden voyage for this
Yep.
guy.
All I did was pull the plastic off before the show.
Exactly.
We haven't opened the other ones either.
Right. And then I have the Highway 61, which was, I think, a 2020 release from them that I really don't know much about other than I knew you already had these. And I was like, I'm going to grab that.
No, again, I think the sample packs are great. Smaller bottles. It worked out for us on those scotches.
Yep, absolutely.
I think more distillers need to do that.
Yeah. And this is the size. Like, this has got to be what, 250? 200. Perfect. 200 milliliters
Imagine
is like
that.
perfect.
The Weller lineup.
Yeah, I'd buy that. Yeah.
People buy that all day long.
All day long, they'd make more money off of it, and more people would be able to try all their whole lineup.
Yep.
But I totally agree with that. My problem is I have seen some like 50s. Well, that's somewhat useless. Like I get to taste it, but you don't.
Yeah.
Like
It's an airplane bottle.
yeah, that's not useful at all. I want like 200 is perfect because we can get 3, maybe 4 samples.
Yep.
Pairs of samples. I like that. I like the 200, the 250. It's perfect.
Well, I mean, given we're in Tennessee,
Yep.
we start with the Tennessee
Yep.
bourbon. I'm gonna say it's Tennessee whiskey.
Yeah, it's got more of that note to it.
No, it was a good one to start with. Out of this, I think the finish is really nice. I think the nose is kind of strong. Palate is kind of in the middle. I really enjoyed the finish on this one.
Yeah, it sits really, really nice at the end of that.
So I'm interested to try.
Yeah, rest of the line.
The double barrel, and,
Yeah.
and then the rye, and then the highway. What do you said?
61.
61.
Looking forward to it.
Next few episodes.
That's right.
We appreciate you joining this first sample in the Heaven's Door lineup. If you enjoyed this, we encourage you to hit the like button at the bottom of the screen.
While you're down there, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the bell icon, get notified every time we put out a new episode. And let us know. Have you had any of the Heaven's Door? What are your thoughts? Let us know.
Yep. Well, thanks for joining. Look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Thanks for watching.
Cheers.